Hello, this is your virtual life coach, Michael Lewis. I want to tell you about one of the great individuals of the past century, Howard Moskowitz. You've never heard of Howard Moskowitz? Where have you been? Howard Moskowitz was the inventor of the better spaghetti sauce. See, here's what was going on. Was in the 70s, Campbell's, Campbell's Soup Company, they made Prego spaghetti sauce, but the spaghetti sauce market was dominated by ragu. You remember ragu. Even though Prego was better than ragu, ragu had it all over, they had it all over Prego. And there were two kinds of spaghetti sauce back then. And it was plain and spicy. That's what ragu had, plain and spicy. And so did Prego, plain and spicy. That's because the conventional wisdom in America in those days was you can only have two kinds of people in America, plain people and spicy people. So the plain people would do plain spaghetti sauce and the spicy people would do spicy spaghetti sauce. That's just the way life was, plain and spicy. But Howard Moskowitz had a dream and a passion. He believed that there was more to life than plain and spicy. And in the late 1970s, through his persistence against overwhelming odds and his passion, he discovered more to life. He discovered what it was, and that thing was chunky spaghetti sauce. Prior to 1979, chunky spaghetti sauce was unknown. It had not been discovered. He was the Columbus of spaghetti sauce, one might say. He embraced diversity and variety, and he unveiled his chunky spaghetti sauce. Prego took it. Ragu said no thank you. They stood pat with their plain and spicy, and the result was that Prego beat out Ragu for the first time in the 1980s, and it has not looked back. The universal standard of what should be good had been plain or spicy and nothing else. Howard Moskowitz changed all that with his vision, his persistence, his sense of destiny, and looking outside the box. Now, we've gone far beyond that. We've gone far beyond plain, spicy, and chunky. There's now like dozens of different kinds of spaghetti sauce, including chocolate, I suppose. All thanks to Howard Moskowitz, who changed the world. So you can change the world too. You can change the world with your passion and your persistence. Well, what do you need? Well, the first thing you need is just to show up. Just be there. Where? I don't know. That's not as important as how you show up. Are you going to show up with a deflated or hopeless attitude? I hope not. Just show up at least with the attitude that you're ready to go. Let's do this thing. Let's turn the key. Let's flick the switch. Let's start the engine. Let's go. 95% of life is just showing up. Okay, so you've shown up. You're here. What's next? The next thing is you got to want something. What do you want? Come on, what do you want? What do you want? And the more specific that thing is that you want, the better. And if you can include others in what you want and in your success and in the benevolence that it will wreak upon the world, that's best of all. It makes it more unselfish and makes it good for the world. So know what you're going after, because that thing that you want will continue pulling you forward, pulling you into the future. And if you're really passionate about it, you will find yourself in the future before the future's actually happened. In other words, it's still the future. It's not the present yet, but you'll be there. You'll have a head start on everybody else because you'll be plotting and planning and scheming and dreaming right now in the present with your eye on the future. So if you don't have a dream, if you don't have a purpose, you will have no motivation that pulls you into the future, which means that you'll be stuck here in the ravioli and green tuna fish of the present. Or worse, yes, you'll get pulled back into the past. Not good. because when you're stuck in the present or pulled back into the past, it's a lot easier for you to be distracted and dispersed away from what is really important. The best way to keep yourself on an even keel and able to put up with a lot of aggravation is to have a dream, focus on that dream, something that pulls you into the future. Okay, so now that you've got something to go after, what do you need to do in order to reel that thing in? You need passion. Just wanting it isn't enough. You need passion. If it's this important to you, and you need to overcome barriers and green tuna fish and obstacles and ravioli, you can't just want it in this world. You've got to have passion. Now, in the 1970s, I think it was in the early 1970s, Franco Zeffirelli was putting together a movie based on Romeo and Juliet. And he cast a 16-year-old boy, Leonard Whiting, and a 14-year-old girl, Oliver Hussey. Neither of them had had any acting experience on film ever before. And the way that he got them to act was to always be passionate in whatever they were doing. Like when they were doing the balcony scene, and she's going, Romeo, oh Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? And he's down at the bottom there, and it's time for him to go up and climb the vine. Zeffirelli told Romeo, he told Leonard Whiting, he said, okay, you're a hungry dog and she's the bone. Go! And you watch that scene and it's just like he's a hungry dog and he's going after her. It's very passionate. It's very passionate. So here's a fun fact, is that the original Romeo that Franco Zeffirelli wanted in that film was Paul McCartney. He thought Paul McCartney would be amazing, from the Beatles. And to his credit, Paul McCartney said, thank you. Even though they offered him a bundle of money for it, he said, no, thank you. I don't want to do it. I don't feel I could do the part justice. Why? I'm not passionate about it. See, he understood. Now, there's one element in creating passion, is knowing in your gut that it must be done. This is something that's got to be done. It's like a duty. It's like your duty, and you're the one charged with this task. You're the one who's going to do it. Now, the dictionary defines duty as what? Something that one is expected or required to do by moral or legal obligation. And that's how you need to regard your goal, your dream, your purpose, or target, or whatever you're going after. It is expected or required as your moral or legal obligation. It is your duty. It comes from the same root word as debt, D-E-B-T, debt, which is a word that means to owe. It's something that you owe to yourself and others. So why wouldn't you be passionate about it? Okay, so the way this goes is you start out by showing up, then you want something, then you want that thing with passion. It is your sworn duty to make that dream come true. And that passion is what's going to help you overcome everything so that you can achieve that dream. Now, here's another element that's needed in this recipe, and that is called persistence. Persistence. Here are some things that could get in your road that persistence, just keeping at it, will help you overcome. First thing is distractions. They're probably the easiest ones. There are so many shiny things around these days that are distracting. You let your focus drop a little and you realize you'd really like to know who all the members of the Bengals group were. So you go online and you find out. And while you're finding out, you go, when did Thomas Edison die anyway? And so you find out when he died. And then you want to know what the capital of Turkey used to be called. It wasn't always called Istanbul. What did it used to be called? And you go on and on and on. And oh, the cat wants to play. And oh, it's very easy to get distracted. People Certain people can also be distracting. Some can be so distracting, as a matter of fact, that they cause another obstacle in your road. And that thing is self-doubt. You can have just a little tiny bit of doubt on committing yourself 1000% to your passion. Or when you're just about to make that big plunge, someone emails you or phones you, or you run into them and they say, are you sure about the legality of this? What about the licensing? You might need licenses. Do you have all the paperwork done? Do you have a good lawyer? Oh, what about the cost? Well, good luck. See, that's the sort of thing that kind of plants doubt. Another thing that gets in people's road that they don't usually think about is they are going back up a ladder that they had gone down, and they don't realize it. Now, when you're going back up a ladder like that, there's my finger. When you go back up a ladder that you had been going down, what happens is you run into the same feelings of overwhelm and defeat and failure and betrayal and all is lost that you experienced as you were going down. But you're going back up the same ladder. You're going back up that same ladder. And so you might very well pass all those same negative feelings, but this time you're going back up again. You're going back up. So you have to realize these are all the things you passed going down, but you're not going down. You're going back up. Now, if you ever suddenly feel a feeling of impending doom for no reason, or like the clouds are gathering when you've actually decided to take your life by the scruff of the neck and give it a shake and really do something this time. You ever have those negative kind of feelings? Well, there you go. You're just going back up again, and you're traveling on the same road, only you're going back up, not down again. So all those bad feelings of doubt and defeat and dismay and fear are just taking their final curtain call. They're saying, hi, remember me? But remember, it's their final curtain call before you pass them for good on your way back up. So don't stop. Do not pause and reflect and have a reunion with them and have tea with them. It may be delicious and tempting and sentimental, but believe me, this is a party you do not want to attend. Just keep it going up, keep it going up, keep it going up. Also very important, make sure you've had breakfast. You know how I'm always telling you at the end of these videos to take your vitamins? Well, you know what? You should take your vitamins, and you should eat too, and you should sleep. Passionate people often forget to eat and sleep, and then they make stupid decisions and they go off the rails. So don't forget that. Okay, so some things that can get in your road include letting yourself get distracted, and that includes people who are distracting, who suck up your energy and attention. Self-doubt, not realizing you're going back up the ladder, and forgetting to have breakfast or lunch or dinner or between meal snacks. You handle these things with persistence, dogged focus, and eating and sleeping. One final important point I need to mention, and that is destiny. This is your destiny. What is destiny? Well, the popular meaning of it is the preordained future, the apparently predetermined and inevitable series of events that happen to somebody or something. But the really cool meaning is definition number 2 or 3, which is inner realizable purpose of a life, the inner purpose of a life that can be discovered and realized. Would you like the purpose of your life to be realized? That is controlling your destiny. Destiny is a powerful button, both in real life and in fiction. I mean, look at Spider-Man, look at Luke Skywalker, look at Superman, look at Batman, look at Dorothy. We really go for people who have a sense of destiny. You can too. I remember there was There was a woman who worked for me. She made phone calls for us, and she called a wrong number. And the guy said, "Oh, I'm sorry, you've got a wrong number." And she said, "Oh, I'm sorry." But then suddenly she said, "Wait, wait, do you believe in destiny?" And the guy on the other end of the line said, "Oh my God, yes." And she said, "There is a purpose. There is a purpose that led me to call you by mistake. And it was destiny." And he said, "My God, you're right. You're right." And she got him to do whatever it was we were trying to get people to do back then. But, you know, destiny is very, very powerful. I think everybody has kind of some inkling that there's some destiny there. Okay, so one more thing about passion mixed in with destiny now. You can have yourself 25 things that you're interested in. Perfectly good. But one is above all of those. One of those interests is above all of the others, and that's your passion. Your passion is your highest expression of your talents. It is what makes you great. So, passion. You don't go to your sweetheart and you say, "Marry me. I find you mildly interesting." No, you're passionate. Okay? So you can do this. You've got the passion. My final piece of advice on this whole thing is don't be wowed by all the bad news people spew at you, and that the internet spews at you, and that the media and everything else spews at you. Just focus on the beauty and wonder of Earth and its people, because they're the ones who are going to be benefiting from your passion and your dream, and they deserve it. So like Howard Moskowitz and his spaghetti sauce, go on out there and fulfill your destiny. Go, the force is with you. And that's all I have to say for now. So until next time, love each other, observe posted speed limits, take your vitamins, play nice, and never lose sight of who you are. Never, never, never lose sight of who you are. So long for now.